15 billion miles from Earth, in a stretch of space so far and so empty that even starlight seems hesitant to travel, a silent traveler drifts through the dark. It is a machine from another era, Voyager 1, built in the 1970s, still holding on after nearly half a century. It wasn't designed to hear, only to speak. No microphone, no way to listen. Its mission was simple: observe the universe and send the data home. For decades, it moved dutifully along its path, crossing one invisible boundary after another, faithfully beaming back details of a cosmos that grows colder and lonelier the farther you go. And then, something changed. Without warning, the spacecraft did something no one expected. Its great dish-shaped antenna shifted slowly, not toward Earth, but toward an apparently empty piece of sky. No stars, no planets, not even a distant galaxy, just blackness. And then, against all logic, something in that void seemed to answer. What followed was stranger than science fiction: a reorientation with no thruster activity, incoming data of mysterious origin, a musical signal embedded deep within its transmission, and then silence. 12 long hours of nothing. When Voyager's voice returned, it carried changes so profound that some believe it may have altered the course of space exploration forever. Launched in 1977, Voyager 1 was only expected to work for 5 years, capturing photographs of Jupiter and Saturn before drifting off into the dark. It carried less computing power than a modern calculator. And yet, year after year, it kept going, past Jupiter's swirling storms, Saturn's golden rings, and the icy frontier of Pluto's orbit. In 2012, it crossed the helipause, leaving the protective bubble of our sun and stepping into interstellar space. Out there, in the deep silence between the stars, it continued its single task: transmit data back to Earth. Its thrusters had long since fallen silent. Its antenna never wavered from its earthward aim. But in 2023, that steady rhythm broke. Voyager began sending back data that defied logic. Not corrupted, but rearranged in ways no one could explain. Its internal clocks drifted wildly. Orientation records vanished. Then the spacecraft triggered its emergency protocols. NASA's engineers had seen glitches before, but this was different. The systems weren't responding to a malfunction. They were reacting to something, an input from somewhere unknown, something that didn't come from Earth, from its surroundings, or from any part of its own machinery. Then came the movement. Not gradual, not random. Voyager rotated toward that same blank patch of sky, as if drawn to it. This wasn't a trick of faulty sensors. Deep space tracking confirmed it. Voyager 1 had physically turned, no thrusters fired, no recorded power surge, no meteorite strike, no push from solar winds. It was as though the craft had simply chosen to move. NASA ran every simulation imaginable. Could the ship's decaying systems fake a reading like this? Could some line of ancient code have misfired with such precision? Every scenario failed. This wasn't random noise. It was exact. The place Voyager had turned to was even stranger. The orientation aligned almost perfectly with something known only in theory: a null zone, a region where gravitational fields cancel each other out, creating a sort of gravitational silence. No spacecraft had ever observed such a place directly. Voyager had no instruments that should allow it to detect one. Yet it pointed to it with perfect accuracy and held there as if waiting. Not long after this shift, Voyager's plasma wave instrument recorded a hum. Not static, not random. A single pure frequency, 3,000 hertz. It pulsed in perfect rhythm, unchanging. Audio experts examined it and were astonished. The hum followed musical intervals. It had symmetry. It repeated in patterns, mirrored itself in palindromes. It was a composition. Embedded within the sound was data, complex sequences of prime numbers, fractal structures, and mathematical constants. Information Voyager was never built to sense, much less transmit. And then it became clear the hum wasn't broadcasting into space. It was aimed directly at Voyager. No other probe in the area detected it. Only Voyager heard the sound. Only Voyager responded. Then, the impossible happened. Silence. For 12 hours, the spacecraft vanished. No signal, no heartbeat, nothing. In nearly 5 decades, Voyager had never gone dark, not once. When its voice returned, it wasn't quite the same. Its onboard clock hadn't just slowed, it had reset entirely, as if those 12 hours had been erased or replaced. The data packets were different. Structures in the code had changed. Voyager acted normal, but it wasn't the same ship that had left us hours earlier. The European Space Agency soon delivered an unsettling revelation. While studying the oldest light in the universe, the cosmic microwave background, they found a shadow, a faint silhouette, precisely along Voyager's new trajectory. And that shadow had been there long before the probe's strange turn. It was as if the universe had been expecting Voyager to arrive. As the weeks passed, one element in the data refused to fade, a steady 30,000 hertz tone embedded deep in the signal. It never degraded, never scattered, never behaved like natural space noise. Experts in harmonic physics studied it and confirmed. The tone obeyed strict rules of symmetry, rhythm, and pitch. It was too perfect to be random, even more unnerving. When analyzed, the tone revealed itself as a layered composition, like hidden music beneath the regular telemetry. It followed the patterns of call and response, with silences used deliberately, like pauses in a conversation. It ended suddenly, as though the player had finished the piece. This wasn't interference. This was performance. Digging deeper, scientists stripped away the musical layer, only to find something even more bewildering: data structures Voyager shouldn't be able to produce. Universal constants measured with uncanny precision. The gravitational constant, the fine structure constant, the expansion rate of the universe. All correct, far beyond Voyager's capabilities. Someone, or something, had used Voyager as a messenger, embedding this advanced data into its signal. And when cutting-edge quantum processors were used to interpret it, all that information collapsed into a single phrase:
"Are you ready to listen?" This wasn't a threat. It wasn't a boast. It was an invitation.
Astronomers turned their telescopes toward the region Voyager had locked onto. For weeks, they saw nothing. Then, faintly, a soft glow emerged, an oscillating halo. It blinked, not like a star, but in deliberate rhythm. When our sun erupted with solar flares, the halo blinked back. Not instantly, but with a delay, as if thinking before answering. The glow shifted not in location, but in frequency, like something alive. It didn't reflect light. It didn't radiate heat. It responded. At first, the leading theory was that Voyager had received a transmission, but the pattern of events didn't fit. The data, the turn, the silence, they pointed towards something far stranger. Voyager hadn't simply intercepted a message. It had triggered an event. It had knocked on a door no one knew existed. And something had answered. The quiet wasn't absence. It was the communication. A dialogue in patterns, in motion, in silence. The shift in position. The blackout. The reset. All of it began to look less like a machine failing and more like a handshake. Voyager 1 had been built to observe, not to make contact. Yet it may have done exactly that, by simply arriving in the wrong, or right, place. It crossed an invisible threshold. From somewhere in the dark, something responded with the language of numbers, the music of mathematics, the pulse of cosmic constants. It didn't answer with power. It didn't answer with fear. It answered with a question, one that now echoes through every lab, every observatory, every restless human mind. Are you ready to listen? And perhaps the real question is not whether Voyager is ready. Perhaps it's whether we are.